Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Queenie. As promised, I would be going live tonight. Well, we are here, and tonight we have Dr. Lane Rowland in the building. He is in the back in studio, so I'm going to pull him out in a second. But many of you already know who Dr. Rowland is. You've seen him. He's been on our show for the last year, probably a little over a year, every single month, bringing us the information far and wide regarding COVID, regarding, different things that he knows. And he's finding out about the biosafety protocols and the CDC. I mean, the variants. He's definitely been talking about it all. So I'm bringing him back tonight. I'm so excited. Tonight, I do have me some wine. And I think Doc may have him a little sippy sip as well. So get your questions, gather around. Leave your comments and questions in our chat box. I'll be checking it. And so let's welcome Dr. Rowland to the show tonight. Hey, Dr. Rowland, welcome again.
What's up, my sister Queenie?
How you doing, sir?
Doing great. You're right. It's been more than a year. How quick time has gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, already. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. But you know what? That's life itself. That's one thing I learned. So life does not wait on anybody. And the time on a clock will keep tick-tocking with you on the clock or with you out not on the clock.
Right. Life continues to go on. And it's so good that that we have been able to share this space for over a year. So I'm thankful to you. And I'm just so happy to see that we're still here. We're still thriving and surviving in the midst of this crazy pandemic.
Well, this is the reality. And, I hope tonight, we're going to share some good information once again. Every day different. I've always said that science, it never stays the same. It's a very, very, very dynamic field. It's not static, and with viruses, which are replicating and changing, and diseases, it's a never-ending thing. It's always a source of intrigue.
Yeah.
I mean, this world of microorganisms.
Yes. I have to agree with you. I find it quite intriguing, scary, but intriguing.
Well, I don't know why you think it's. I mean, for you folks, it probably is scary. For me, I love these guys. I've loved these guys since I got my first microscope when I was 5 years old, and these guys are my buddies, and I understand them. I study them. I've taken classes with them. I work with them, and so I really understand viruses and microorganisms.
Yeah. Exactly. See, you got it. It is above me, sir. But I'm thankful to people like you because you keep me well informed and you keep me on my toes. I'm always thinking and researching. When you tell me something, I go out there and I look for it. So thank you for that.
Well, a good professor, what I've always said, that an expert in a profession or whatever occupation, especially in science, if you know it, you should be able to teach it. If you're able to teach it, you should be able to teach it at different levels where you can explain a very complicated subject so the masses of people can understand it. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
Teaching. And I've always loved teaching as a part of what I love to do. And here we are. We're going to teach some folks tonight.
We are. All right. So to my viewers, welcome. Thank you for showing up with us tonight and hanging out with us. Dr. Rowland is here to take your questions. Leave a comment and I'll make sure that it shows up on the screen or I share it with him. So Doc, you have been busy as always. You have been running around America as always. But what I see you doing the most is I see you down in the South in those rural areas. And I know you're so philanthropic and I know you're out there saving lives and changing lives. What's happening down in the rural America today?
Oh, the reality, folks, this is real time. This is not CNN and this is not Fox News. This is what I call boots on the ground. And I've been there. I've seen it. I've smelt it. I've eaten there. I've driven. I've seen the deers at nighttime at 11 o'clock coming from a town driving back to Little Rock. Rural America is being devastated as we speak by the COVID-19 and especially the new Delta strain. In Arkansas, all the hospital ICUs are starting to be full with patients with the COVID-19 again. We're talking about real time now.
Wow.
And so it goes to show you where the system is going, where it's going to collapse in about another 2-3 weeks. Like I said before, everybody, just like last year, everybody on this podcast, everybody that's heard me talk, everybody in this world has already had a preview of what's going to happen. You saw it last year.
Yeah.
Gave you the opportunity to see, and I'm sorry about your father dying from COVID, but
Thank you.
we saw 600,000 plus people die from COVID. Millions of people here in the United States, millions of people with COVID long hauler diseases and symptoms and complications. And we're still learning about the disease, and the world is still, fragmented chaos. South America, people are dying. And so Arkansas shows you what's going to happen here in the next 2-3 weeks in America, just like what's happening in Missouri, where the water is contaminated with the SARS-CoV virus. So hospitalizations are starting to go up. And see, here we go again, because we never had an effective policy, or what I call a platform, to mitigate this virus from A to Z. And as long as we have an open window of opportunity and disformity in this organization, we're going to always have this virus in the population. And so rural America, Arkansas, is a prelude of what's going to happen throughout the United States. And I'm just fortunate enough that I'm a native. My daddy's people are from Hazen, Arkansas. So I have blood, and my grandfather and my family are buried in the dirt of Arkansas. So I have a significant tie to Arkansas.
Wow, wow, wow. So let's talk about that water that you're talking about. And you said Missouri, correct?
Yes.
What's happening with that?
Well, one of the things this is when you really truly, Queenie, guys like us that are trained in infectious diseases. I'm talking about real infectious disease guys, real virologists, real people that understand microbiology, from industrial microbiology, food microbiology, to period infectious diseases. One of the things I talked about a year ago, a year and a half ago, was one way we have to contain the infections, that we have to measure sewage. When you measure the sewage is always a representation of the population, i.e., if I measure polio and find polio in the feces of the community, in the wastewater or sewage, then that means that virus is in the population. Same thing with the SARS-CoV virus. Now we're finding, it's been there the whole time. Somebody just talked about it again, because I talked about this a year and a half ago, that Missouri water is infected with the SARS-CoV virus. I have relatives that live in Missouri. So you can imagine the sewage infected with the SARS, a new Delta mutation, which is much more effective in transmissibility, much more lethality, 50 to 100% more lethality than the original Alpha strain. And I want folks to understand this Alpha, Delta, Lambda, also, Beta, Gamma. These are just names for the individual country. So when I say Delta strain, what I'm talking about is the Indian double mutation, triple mutation I talked about a month ago. And so we're finding the virus, and the virus has always been in the water. And so what does that tell you for the general population? If the virus is in the sewage, in the feces, that means the population is unaffected. As the virus, and we measure fecal sewage over time for virus load, and as we start decreasing the virus spine or positivity in the fecal matter in the sewage, that tells us the population is getting healthier. Here's an example. Polio was endemic in Pakistan. So what we do, we go over there and we measure the fecal polio viral load in the feces and the sewage. And as we treated the people with vaccination, i.e. the polio vaccination, the virus load went down in the feces, and all of a sudden we have zero viruses in the feces. That means the community is healthy. So that tells you that Missouri is infected. Same in Arkansas. We can imagine all the wastewater systems, the sewage throughout America, with affected people that are symptomatic, asymptomatic. The sewage waste treatment plants is a super spreader of the virus, i.e., if their purification system is not very accurate, you can imagine taking a shower, getting infected with the virus, drinking the water, getting infected with the virus. So it's very important that people have great biosecurity protocols to make sure that they're making sure that the water is sanitized and sterilized to the best of the ability, to make sure that people don't get infected by the water itself.
Wow, that is a lot. That is heavy. And that's something to think about. I didn't even would have never considered it, but I appreciate you bringing it to our attention tonight, Doc.
Well,
Um,
I want to add one thing to that, Queen, because it's
sure.
important that when we talk about Arkansas, we talk about Mississippi, we talk about Louisiana, Georgia, rural places, could be Idaho, even Appalachian, West Virginia.
Yeah.
We're not always talking about rural areas that is defined as Black folks. Rural area can be anybody in America that lives in a rural area. We
Hmm.
have to understand that another transmission mode of the viruses could be roundworms, hookworms, it could be redworm. Is that what happens in the South? A lot of people have septic tanks, and
Hmm.
septic tanks leak out into the soil, into the field, and kids run around, they play with it. That septic tank gets back into the drinking water. So somebody takes a shower, they get the virus in their eyeballs,
Hmm.
get it in their mouth, maybe it gets early. So this is something we have to also, in containment of disease. And I talked about this a year and a half ago. We have to make sure that in the rural areas that places that have septic tanks that they're functional and they're doing their adequate job and they're not leaking out viruses and parasites and other microorganisms.
Wow. Wow. Okay. That's a lot. And I can see the connection when I think about I need to take a sip too, but when I think about, having lived in rural America before, I can see how that can actually happen. Um, with that being said, Doc, I have a question, a personal question, not the ones that's in our chat box, but personal question. Really looking at the effectiveness of the vaccine, right? Seeing that we're not getting as many reports of new cases, and not that it's gone away, because it has not. But how do you feel? Because I believe there is a disparity between the North and the South with the vaccine and the cases. So what are you seeing, or what is your opinion of that, as it relates to those getting the vaccine, those that are not, the cases from the North to the South? I mean, you're obviously traveling all over, so tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, my thought and my interpretation is going to be based off of science and medicine. That's what I've always based my whole entire career
Mhm.
and life is about understanding the science and medicine. If you understand the science and medicine, people never argue with you. So
Mhm.
let's keep it real. I'm not here to be your buddy. I'm not here to be your cousin. I'm here to tell you facts that's going to save you, your life, your family members, because we live in a very naive world
Mhm.
and people do not really understand. So let me tell you about the vaccine, the true opinion of what Dr. Rowling truly feels, or I'm going to give you the political correct answer, like when me and my daughter did our interview a year and a half.
Mhm.
My
Give us
daughter,
that truth.
Dr. Rowling version, or I can give you the daddy version. You remember that very clearly.
I
Every
do.
100,000 people that saw that video within 7 days
Yes.
saw the message. But I'm going to give you guys a Dr. Rowland version on the vaccines, guys. The vaccines are not the be all. That is the reality. I have to base it off of science. The science tells me that I'm going to post this tomorrow in the morning time, Coffee with Doc,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Everybody knows I post every morning. I got a brand new article that shows you that, I think like 4,000 people in Connecticut got the vaccine and still got infected.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you have a vaccine that you say is supposed to be all for all, and people are still getting infected and dying? And some people are catching not that, they're catching two different viruses at the same time. That shows you what I've always talked about, the famous word about vaccine efficacy and vaccine effectiveness.
Yeah.
Vaccine effectiveness is what we're going through now throughout America, folks. It's experimentation. That's why
Mhm.
these vaccines are experimental use. Just the other day, I posted in Coffee with Doc in the morning. Everybody's going through it now. Now they know that young men who get the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine, the messenger RNA, they're having myocarditis, playing
Mhm.
basketball and dropping dead like flies, running down a soccer field, passing out. Well, why did not they tell you a year ago that, man, if you get the Moderna vaccine or you get the Pfizer vaccine, you have a chance of having a heart problem a year later?
Mhm.
Well, guess what? Now they tell you that now because they didn't know that. This is an experimental use authorization. That's why it takes 3 to 10 years for vaccines to come to work. You take 1,000 black people that got diabetes and you give them a shot. 30 of them lose their leg. Well, let me tell you, folks, you get the vaccines, a possibility you're going to lose your leg. You get 30 kids that have autism and they have complications. You take 1,000 people with sickle cell, 1,000 white folks with diabetes,
Mhm.
high blood pressure, different subtypes. And then you bring your drug or your vaccine to the real world and not be experimenting on them. And so now we're experimenting, getting ready to start experimenting on children. And God forbid that your child gets one of these vaccines because they're pushing it, they're being a bully, and your kid ends up having cerebral palsy or some type of brain injury from the shot. You're not going to get any money, folks. You're done. Your ball game over with you. So you have to be informed. So your question on the vaccine is this: these vaccines, so-called, all these vaccine platforms, Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson Johnson, even my favorite, Covax, Novax, are made off of the D614 strain from 2 years ago.
Mhm.
These vaccines have no vaccine effectiveness against the Delta strain, the
Mhm.
double mutation, the triple mutation. In fact, real life, a person came from Hawaii who was vaccinated, was negative, went to Las Vegas, had a good time, flew back to Hawaii, and he affected his whole family with the Indian Delta mutation from Las Vegas. And now Hawaii has the Indian mutation to deal with now. So
Wow.
it shows you that these vaccines are very limited in their capabilities. And let me explain to everybody what I mean by that. For every new mutation, i.e., the Delta mutation, i.e., the new Vietnam Indian hybrid mutation, you have to make a brand new vaccine.
Mhm.
There is no vaccine that, like these, for this SARS CoV virus, that has multi capabilities to treat 10 different mutations. In fact, there's over 4,000 different variants. Bats carry over 400 different coronavirus, and we know that 7 of them affect man on a regular basis. They have not done that. And so
Wow.
the reality is that when you start talking about vaccines and you think that you're safe, I promise you, the numbers tell yourself. Get on an airplane, go to one of these cities that has the strain, don't wear a mask, breathe in the fresh air, and I promise you, you're going to be in a body bag in a month. This is the way it is. This is my opinion on vaccines, the reality of vaccines.
Right.
Do I believe in vaccines? Yes, I do. I
Mhm.
inject children with vaccines. I
Mhm.
save children's lives with vaccines. I pay for vaccines in the jungles of the Amazon basin. But the reality is that we see it now. Everybody's got their head buried in the sand, but the virus is going to make you see reality like it's starting to do now.
Thank you for that, sir. The Delta variant, you mentioned that. I know it's kind of a crazy question. Should we worry? But because some people are still not taking it as serious as I know that you would like for them and for, us too, the Delta variant is just one of the new mini strands that we're talking about, and you've been talking about for at least a month or so now. Is this something that we should worry about, understanding what you just said about the gentleman that went to Vegas? Which, I was in Vegas, and it's that strip is a cesspool, sir. And I know that's where you live and all, but it's a cesspool.
Well,
I was scared to death. I was scared to death in Vegas.
you should be you should be scared of Vegas. I mean, I've been
I
my
was.
I'm what you call an OG. And for
Yeah.
you folks out there that don't know what OG means, that means, Dr. Rollins, I'm an old gangster. I've been around for a long time. I've
Right.
been in Vegas since '78. I've seen it all. And my point is that Vegas has always been like that. You know, it's dysfunctional, i.e., they don't care about if you're coughing, hacking, you got the flu, you have doo-doo on your hands like I showed you the guy on the airplane. They don't care. It's about the money. But guess what Vegas really is? Vegas is a super spreader.
It is.
All these
Yes.
come here. Hey, I'm coming from Hawaii to Vegas. I come here, I pick up the Indian strain because all these people are doing their nasty, non, mental, what I call, don't understand the rules of infectious disease, and they go back to their home, and he affected everybody in his family. So what
Wow.
happens? Mother dies, and his child died because of he brought the Delta strain to Honolulu. And let me tell folks now, if he brought the strain from Honolulu, what do you think everybody on that airplane is infected?
Mm-hmm.
For every one person that gets the SARS-CoV virus, R naught number, reproductive number, means that you can infect 4 people. So everybody on the airplane is infected. They get off the airplane, they affected everybody else. So
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you right now, just like the newspaper said, and I'll be posting this tomorrow because I believe in science and medicine, the Delta strain is in Hawaii, Honolulu, like it is in Las Vegas throughout the entire country. It will be the predominant strain driving the new pandemic or
Mm-hmm.
infection in the United States.
Well, what I do know for sure, sir, is that Vegas was it I don't want to go back. I had a great time for that week, but I was so paranoid and I just saw people just being so careless in their movement as if there was no pandemic at all. Like as if when you went to Vegas, the pandemic was over. And speaking of that, when I was there is when we was made aware of these loosened mask mandates, which again
Okay.
freaked me out. So I have to ask your opinion on this. Do you
Let me tell
believe that this mask mandate was a mistake or was premature?
you, this mask mandate is going to be written down in the history of science and medicine as one of the greatest catastrophe to man in the modern time. Complete destruction of our society. Because that mask should have been the frontline defense of people. And the mask itself, folks, were another critical mistake. And it just blows my mind. The so-called educated people are really not educated because I guarantee you they don't have they're not biological and certified chemical and biological warfare like I am. I understand masks. And these masks that they talked about last year, the FFP2s and the N95s and the surgical masks and wearing the cloth mask,
Mhm.
folks, they have nothing to do with a virus. They're basically antibacterial. This is a virus. And so, to your question on that, before I answer that, I was on Instagram earlier today. Somebody sent me a message because Roland Martin was on a plane and he had a picture of himself with 6 masks on, 2 cloth masks, whatever. And he said, this is a bad experience. And he's wearing this mask, blah, blah, blah. And somebody says, you need to talk to Dr. Roland. And he sent
Good.
a message about he sends me a message. I send it back to Roland Martin. Guys,
Yeah.
you pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I said, Roland, you're gonna end up killing yourself. You better up your game to an antiviral mask. And he sent me sitting back, where would I find this antiviral mask at, Doc?
Yeah.
And so your question is that we should always have a mask mandate, period. In the story. That is the reality. This is the new norm. Texas increasing cases. Arkansas increases in cases. Alabama increases in cases. Missouri increases. California, they're talking about it now. Cases are going out of the roof. So what are you going to say in September when somebody's mother dies? And I've done a lot of DNRs this year. Do not resuscitate. What is the excuse going to be when you could have simply had an antiviral mask and had situational awareness? So they cut the policy too short. Even Mr. Fauci, like a bouncing ball. 1 minute, don't wear a mask. Wear a mask over here. I'm sorry, folks. This virus is transmitted through 3 ways. Respiratory, that means air. Secretions, spit, talking. You talk, it goes on the table. And the third thing is feces. Well, if it's respiratory, you better wear a mask, period. Especially with these new Delta strains.
Mhm.
Speaking of people, you better have a mask on. And the third thing, making sure you have good sanitation, making sure that you understand hand washing, antiseptic, not antibacterial, making sure that when you guys go to the produce store or to Kroger's, Jitney Jungle, wherever you folks get your food, that your produce is clean when you bring it home with good food sanitizer to disinfect the fruit, because the fruit that people are touching and coughing now with all the people not wearing masks. Can you imagine going to Kroger's and everybody in there coughing and hacking, picking their nose, breathing on the strawberries? E. coli, SARS-CoV virus, hepatitis A. I can go on salmonella. We're talking about Shigella. You name it, these produce are infected. And I've already, and my team, have already done the science study, and we know that they're infected and contaminated.
I'm going to take a sip of my wine, sir.
Let me cool myself off. Ooh.
So that is a lot.
Well, here's the deal. Your question. You saw me flying. People follow me
Yeah.
on Instagram. People saw I put it on Facebook. You guys, I love doing clinical field microbiology. I get to the airport. I take pictures of folks.
Yeah. Yes.
I take how they get the kiosks. I look at what they're doing in the airport, sitting down with their mask, no mask. I see what they do in the bathroom. They go in there, they don't wash their hands, they pee all over the floor, and we find the virus in urine. You step in their urine, you're tracking it out. I follow people. I look at clinical field virology on the airplane. The flight attendants wearing the same gloves, giving you your milk, doing the credit card, touching the trash, going in the bathroom, touching their mask. These people are infected. I've seen people on airplanes go in there and take a dump and have poop stains on the back of their shorts, and they sit in that seat and they touch your seat. I understand the real world of infectious diseases, and one of the things about a plane, you are absolutely crazy to get on an airplane and you don't have the best mask to protect yourself, which is an antiviral mask in a virus pandemic.
Wow. Yes, I agree with you. I have a question. Well, not even a question, a statement. Whenever the mask mandate was lifted, I too thought it was very premature. My thought was, and my question is, why did they not choose to just increase the occupancy in places, but keep the mask mandate in place rather than remove them? I mean, like simultaneously remove the mask mandate and then say, hey, we can go back to full capacity. Like, I'm still trying to understand why they did not choose one over the other versus both at the same time, considering the fact that the virus is not gone away.
Well, because this is where the whole entire system failed us. I mean, and do not believe that a government agency will protect you. Do not believe that a government agency will do the best thing for you. I mean, we look at why they talk about vaccine hesitancy among Black folks, and I've talked about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. People don't want to talk about that. They're cutting out Black females' vaginos in Alabama without anesthesia. Dr. Sten, a national hero, or every Black boy that acted up in New York City in class, and they took that Black boy to the hospital and did a lobotomy on him. What are you talking about? So politics got into this virus thing. It's always been there. Now what's happened is that people got into this political thing, and they made it into a political situation. So the mandate would be, folks, y'all going to wear a mask. This is how ironic and hypocritical the system is. They tell you, you get on the airplane, the captain on the plane gets on there and says, folks, you better keep your mask on above your nose. If not, we're going to kick you off this plane. You will be banned from flying ever, and you got to walk 2,000 miles of where you're going. Federal law. But I walk outside the airport and I go to Applebee's. Man, I don't have to wear a mask. I can see the arrogance in people, like they think they beat this virus, but they haven't beat this virus.
Yeah.
And hypocrisy, because you cannot have one system. So you got a super spreader on a plane that has a mask on. He gets into the great state of Arkansas, Little Rock Airport, takes his mask off, and he starts coughing, hacking, pooping in the airplane, pooping at the airport, peeing on the floor in the airport, goes to his hotel. He's affecting the Uber driver. He infects the Hearst rent a car. There's your super spreader right there.
Thank you for answering that, sir.
And I don't want people to think this is a horror show, because it's not a horror show for me, because I've already written the script for it. Author.
Yeah.
I
So,
know the ending of the story.
so listen, I've watched you travel as of late, and you have had the humidifier, the air purifier, I think it is.
Huh?
And I've placed some different products on the screen. Can you tell us a little bit about those products? But I'm going to share where our viewers can pick those items up directly from you. So if
Well,
you could tell us a little bit about it, like I see this humidifier, which I think is really cool, or this air purifier, I think that's
yeah.
really amazing.
One of the things I've always tried to do is that when I started this stuff, I came back to the United States. I mean, I've been a humanitarian for 20 years. I mean, that's my calling. Taking care of
Mhm.
folks, teaching people and training students and certifying all this great stuff. But I found that there are a lot of people out there gotten this the virology stuff, this pandemic, just to make money. And a lot of people
Yeah.
buried. That's what they got into the business. They really are not in it to really save people's lives. They're really about lining their own pockets. Well,
Mhm.
I kind of figured out. It took me a year and a half to figure it out what the system's about. Guys talking about 25 million gloves and 25 million masks, and I mean, what are you talking about? Everybody trying to become a millionaire off of people's death and destruction. Well, what I learned is that I have to be the science and the medicine guy that I've always been because I have to sleep at nighttime. And so what I did was I make sure that every technology that I look at from last year, and everything I touch,
Yeah.
I certify because I have to understand that mask that I have on my face, I can go into a multi-drug resistant tuberculosis room with a patient coughing and hacking. I know I'm not going to get infected. I can get on an airplane. Y'all can all be sick. And I'm going like that famous line, like my boy Dave Chappelle. I look at you guys and go, what are those? Because I have the real technology. I have the
Yeah.
mass based off of stuff. So I'm going to protect you and your family and everybody in the world from A to Z. I got to talk about your hands. I got to talk about the mask. I got to talk about air purification, sanitation. What do you use to disinfect your fruit? What antiviral pediatric mask are you putting on your child?
Mhm.
Get back into the world. I have that. And so the air purification, or what I call the antiviral air sanitizer, is just another product, another technology of Dr. Rowland's arsenal, trying to make everybody and create a bubble for you as an individual, a bubble for your family, and a bubble for a municipality, for a school. I mean, how simple it is to have a mat in front of your home that has disinfectant because the virus is cured on the bottom of your shoes.
Mm.
Mexico, I was in Mexico. Me and you did that beautiful podcast, and I was on.
Yes.
I'm back there, my hair is flowing
Yes,
back, and
it was.
oh Lord, Lord, Lord. And all of them hotels said, Lord, Lord, Dr. Rowland, you ain't stepping foot in our hotel or our restaurant if you don't put them shoes with your feet in that on that disinfectant. I said, wow. So
Wow.
this is what I've tried to create for people. So that's what our topedabiosecurity.com has. And we're young. We're coming more because I'm switching gears now,
Yeah.
and we're going to make it happen. It ain't the other way around. If I tell you that if you ate 2 bowls of Captain Crunch and they got rid of the COVID, trust me, Dr. Rowland have Captain Crunch on my website.
All right. So I have dropped the website. I think if I'm not mistaken, I dropped it in the comment section, but I've also dropped it here on our podcast. I would like to take the last few minutes to go into. Okay, I'm going to get all your questions. I'm going to take the last few minutes to go into the questions that are in our comment section. I'm not going to hold you long tonight because we're sipping tonight, and I want you to actually be able to relax and enjoy
No,
it.
you're sipping, I'm drinking.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. so, we do know that we can get we can get the mask on this website as well, right, sir?
Yeah, you can
Okay,
get
perfect.
everything on the website. Everybody can get.
All
And that,
right.
you go to our website, you can get every product that's on that website. You're going to get it one way or the other, period.
Okay. All
Still,
right.
we're going to be still adding more technology as I feel comfortable with who I'm dealing with in the real world.
Mhm.
Everybody want to bet my black butt I get to vet your butt.
That's right.
On my website with my credentials and who I am. I ain't
That's
seen none of these folks in the jungles carrying no 80-pound rucksack.
right. So with that being said, to my viewers, to the listeners, take this website down, please. Go check it out. I was out there earlier. You can get your product, you can get the information, you can read up on it, you can understand the company, and know that this is Dr. Rowland. So we have any questions about it, you can get all your answers right there on this website. And if you cannot find your answers, then please just send me a message and I'll make sure that Dr. Rowland gets that information.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
You do have a direct link to me. That don't.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so Doc, before we go into our viewers' questions, I have one last question for you. What can we do to avoid the second shutdown? I feel personally that it's inevitable, but that could be just me being pessimistic. So, can you tell me your view on that?
Well, this is probably the what I call the elephant in the room, and this is what I'm when I went back to Arkansas, and the mayor gave me the key to the city of Camden and all that stuff. This is what I'm here for. I'm trying that we do not shut down again in rural Arkansas in Camden with the great Mayor Lott and the great Mayor Smith Creer from El Dorado and the great Mayor Hawk from Hazen, Arkansas. Because if we shut down again, it's over, guys.
Yeah.
It's done. People are going to go out there and going to kill themselves because it's ball game over. So what we have to do is we have to prevent that shutdown, and that shutdown goes back to the basic. Now, that's some of my responsibility being charged to me in certain areas in Arkansas is to create that bubble so the municipality stays open, making sure that the assisted living facility stays open, the nursing home stays open, the fire department is protected by putting in mats, putting in hand sanitizer, making sure that the bathroom is controlled, because we cannot take another second shutdown. And guess what's going to happen? The Barnes is going to do his best to shut it down. And it's already doing, because people are so naive and stupid that they do not understand that this virus is just waiting to affect you and continue to affect you until it makes you sick or kill you one way or the other. Yeah. And folks, you have a preview of what's going to happen, because when September, October, November comes around, like I always say, the person that laugh last always laugh the loudest. And I've been telling you the information because I have to put it in your face. And I want people to understand it's not about scaring people, it's the reality. And what do I mean by that? When I'm in surgery, doesn't matter, United States, Peru, and I cut a person's leg off from diabetes, and that person comes in my clinic after I cut their leg off above the knee or below the knee, and the other patients in there that are diabetics got infections, I say, you want to be like that guy? And they all say they don't want to lose their leg. And so I have to put it in your face and make you understand the reality of what you're doing. And this is how we have to do it. It's tough love, but it's real love. And this is what we have to do to make sure that we do not have a second shutdown, because the rural areas of America will be decimated.
Yeah. I think a lot of us will, we'll just not be able to manage well if we have another shutdown.
Well,
but I just kind of see it coming with ignorance.
No. You see it, Queenie. You see it. It's every day. There's a little trickle information coming out.
Yep.
The water in Missouri is affected. Cases in Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas are going up. Florida cases are going up. New York. Oh man, yeah. Go have yourself a frappuccino in Times Square. You might find yourself in a body bag a month later. Don't go wear a mask. You better make sure you protect yourself and have situational awareness. I hope y'all get on a subway in New York City and ride up and down that subway, touch the rail, and breathe in all that fresh air. You won't be around for Christmas. I guarantee you that.
Wow. All right, everyone, continue to protect yourself. These protocols are out there, the biosafety protocols. Dr. Blessman has been putting them out there every time she drops into our box. Dr. Rowland has put them out there every time we speak. Please listen. I am preaching. Look, I'm preaching to the choir when I'm saying that because I'm trying to make sure that I'm very conscious of it as well everywhere I go. All right, we are going into our comment section. We're going to hit these questions, Doc, and then we're going to get out of here. All right. First question is from Avis. She said, how effective are the current vaccines against the new variants? I think you probably already answered that.
Well, I'll answer it again. And I mean, I'm a professor of pathogen virology, so I'm a Southern tell. Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolate, and you never know what
you never know.
The vaccine effectiveness against these new variants. That's why people are dying. They're dying like flies in India and Brazil, and people are dying like flies here in the United States because the vaccines have no vaccine effectiveness against these new strains, and definitely, young lady, against the Vietnam Indian hybrid strain. They has no effect against the Lambda strain. I say Lambda, which is another new strain out there.
All right, y'all remember that name because I'm telling you, every time he says something here, about a month later, we hear it, or a month after, we hear it on TV. So write it down. We're going to hear it again. Lambda. All right, next question from Avis. What is your take on mitochondrial clonal treatment after one gets the COVID-19 virus? I'm not sure what that is. It may be on the screen if you can see it.
I think that we're talking about monoclonal antibodies, and that's Remdesivir, Regeneron. I mean, folks, once again, that is probably the monoclonal antibodies was probably one of the reasons why the new mutations got kicked off in England, because they were giving this to chronically ill patients. And what happens is that when you got that to a chronically ill patient, the monoclonal antibodies are supposed to neutralize this particular virus. Man, that virus gets to look at that monoclonal antibodies. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change. I'm going to mutate. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got the first London strain, alpha strain, 117 strain, because of that. And that is the brilliance of viruses. Viruses sense and they change. And now the viruses we have now are invading the immune system. That's what the Indian strain does. The triple mutation strain, the hybrid strain are evading our immune system, which is absolutely evolutionary genius.
Wow. Okay. Hope that answers your question. Okay, the next question is, when is the Novavax vaccine going to be available? I think I have literally been getting emails and texts about this, sir. So here you are. We're going to ask again.
Let me tell everybody, I think these vaccines should have been out probably a month ago, but they're still going to clinical trials. They have to go to the FDA. And people need to understand the reality of the real world is that Pfizer was a Trump supporter, and Pfizer, Abbott, all these guys were able to get in front of the line and block everybody else by executive order. That is the reality. We should have all these vaccines should be to play. That is why the Pfizer guys or CEOs are cashing in their money, their stocks. So if a Pfizer CEO is cashing in his stock, making his money off of people dying off of an ineffective vaccine, that tells you where the humanity is. Am I right or wrong?
This is true. All right. Hope that answers your question, Joyce. Brown Girlism. Hey, you are always here supporting us. How are you tonight? Her question is, what do you think about ivermectin for COVID? I do not know what it is. About
brown girl, brown girl, curly girl, you need to put some aftersheen in your hair. But at the end of the day, I've written thousands of prescriptions about ivermectin, guys. Ivermectin is a parasitic medication we use to fight Strongyloides. We use it to fight parasites in the jungles of the world. I've written thousands of prescriptions. That is what the FDA That has nothing to do with the FDA. FDA has nothing to do with this medication. We're talking about the real world. What we use to treat parasitic infection. Some countries have their people take ivermectin twice a year because 99% of the people are always affected with worms.
Wow.
And this medication is very effective against worm, ivermectin. Now, there's some anecdotal data out there, articles where people are pushing that ivermectin has the ability to inhibit viral infection in an individual or decrease the viral load. The science is still out on that, brown girl, curly girl. You need some alpha sheen girl. But the bottom line at the end of the day, we'll know in about a year when people actually do the studies and say, hey, we got 1,000 people that are positive with the SARS-CoV virus. No, let's make it better. Let's do the Delta. No, let's do the triple mutation Indian strain. And then we test them folks with ivermectin and see who lives, who dies. Then we really know. But right now, that's very anecdotal. Like, for example, you folks out there on this platform, everybody kept talking about vitamin C and vitamin D. People were taking 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 10,000, vitamin D and drinking nine gallons of milk every day. Guess what? But guess what happened? 1 month ago, John Hopkins said vitamin C, vitamin D got no effect on the COVID-19.
Yeah.
Virus. I was trying to figure that one out because the virus, you breathe the virus in, and the virus goes inside your cell. If the virus goes inside your cell, what in the hell has vitamin D got to do getting inside the cell?
Yeah.
That don't make no damn sense. So this is the idiotic stupidity of people. And if anybody gets on a platform for me, you better bring your science game. And not some anecdotal drinking some juju juice from Africa because the virus is inside your cell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking somebody going to drink vitamin D or vitamin C, and you got HIV. HIV lives in your CD4 cells. If it lives inside the cell, how in the hell is vitamin D going to get to the cell?
Yeah.
Inside the cell. That don't make no damn. This is the stuff that gets people killed.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, Brown Girlism. I appreciate your support, and I always appreciate you dropping your
In
questions.
fact, brown girl, I'm going to take care of you because I know who this is.
You do.
I'll definitely get you some apple sheen too because you're.
I bet she's giggling at you. All right. Queenie B, how do we get the mat? Okay, I think she then found it. Okay, so Queenie B, did you find that mat on the website? I'm hoping that she did. The next question.
Hold tight. Now,
sure.
We're in the happy hour now.
Yeah, we are.
Did I not tell you folks that Dr. Rowland has everything on that website?
He did say that. You said
I got mats. I got masks. I got Uncle Koosie's on there. So we got
it. You did. Don't worry. She found it. We good. We tracking. How do you keep the mask sanitized?
The antiviral mask is different technology, folks. This is a mask that you don't have to have. People ask me 1,000 questions. You don't have to have a filter. The mask makes an electrostatic charge that actually kills the virus, bacteria, fungus, black fungus. And only way you have to clean this mask is with soap and water. That's it. Mask lasts 2-3. High-tech technology. Oh, I mean, I'm very happy to even be a part of that. But we also have, because it's a very high-end mask, it's a Gucci mask. If I'm gonna get on an airplane, that's the mask I'm gonna wear, because y'all nasty out there. I seen you on the airplane.
and you take pictures of them on these airplanes too.
It was so funny, Karina. I got off the airplane in Little Rock, and I filmed this white guy got on the plane, had his mask down. He was cough. He was picking his nose, touching his seats. I'm taking pictures of everybody. We get off the airplane. Baggage. You know me. I got my Special Forces airborne hat on, and he walks up to me. He goes, "Hey, you were taking my photo and my picture on the airplane." And I look at him and says, "Well, what you gonna do about it?" I got in his face and gave him that other side of Dr. Rowland. Yeah. Reality is that this is the reality of what you're dealing with. And so this is real stuff. And so people, you need to open your eyes. These things I put out there for clinical field virology is to show you things that I see. I mean, how can you ask for a cup of ice on an airplane when the flight attendant is putting his hand in the ice and the ice is all up on his arm? He gives you a cup, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning you're pooping and throwing up. How did I get sick? Or the person that bathroom in an airplane, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. They get out of the bathroom, and when they sit down, they touch the back of your seat where your head's at. And you put your head in that, you got feces, you got virus on the back of your head. Reality.
Disgusting reality. All right, sir. Next question. Next question. The news states that those that are not vaccinated are at the highest risk of contacting the Delta virus. But if the vaccinated people are not wearing masks, aren't they at a higher risk?
That's a lie. It's impossible. Show me the science on that.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, vaccinated or unvaccinated, the Delta virus will take you out, period. And definitely the new Vietnam Indian hybrid mutation will take you out. So do not believe, like Public Enemy used to say, Flavor Flav and Chuck D, don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype. All right. From Maddie Brooks, can pregnant women get the vaccine?
No, that's a very good question. And this is a question because I want, if you guys go to Tapeta website and look at my work of 30 years, I helped develop the Zika assay. I helped develop the malaria assay, hepatitis assay, HIV. I tested in the field, helped create the technology to make the system better. And one of the things I'm an expert is, guess what? It was Zika. I have a paper, Journal Nature Microbiology, paper of the year. I understand Zika transmission and fetuses, viruses. Okay, here's the reality, folks. If you're in your first, second, and third trimester, you better not get that vaccine in the first trimester because that is when your baby's being developed. Eyes, brain, heart, lungs. The first 3 months is a very critical months. After that, you get into your second trimester, no big deal. Third, maybe. But bottom line is that you do not get this vaccination in your first trimester. Do you understand that? That is English 101. If not, your kid's going to come out, who knows? We don't know yet because we're still in this year of getting the information. And maybe in a year from now, we're going to find out babies that got the vaccine in the first trimester came out with no arms, maybe no legs. I've seen babies born without brains, guys. I've seen the horrific things that in the real world that can probably happen. So if I was a female, I definitely would not get no vaccine in the first 3 months of my baby being developed.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. If you want to take that risk, you have to deal with the consequences if your baby comes out deformed. And I'm pretty sure the great Texas Governor Abbott ain't going to pay your bills. The great governor of Florida, Santos, ain't going to pay your bills. Do you understand what I'm saying, Queen?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, Dr. Rowland, and to our viewers, that is a wrap. Doc, listen, as always, it's so good to have you stop by. So good to connect with you. And I want to make sure I wish you, even though we're past, a happy Father's Day or happy Father's Day month or happy Father's Day year. You have, I see you with your children, and I know you love being a dad. So I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Queenie. And, because this is a Tuesday night and, I just got back from Arkansas and my southern accent came out.
Yeah. There you go.
Left the reservation or plantation many, many years ago. Mama always said, life is like a box of grits.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's so good to sit down with you. Oh, look, one last question from Queenie B. She's asking you, how do you know the size of what antiviral mask to get?
Well, most part, the masks are geared for medium, large face. So they should fit the scene. What we try to do, we're getting the mask out there as best we can and have people take photos. I mean, wives and couples and women. and most part the mask fits perfectly on women.
Mhm.
But I want you to understand that that is one system, that is one platform.
Yeah.
We have disposable. Let me repeat it again. We have disposable antiviral masks for adults and pediatrics, from babies from 2 to 13 years of age. I said
Mhm.
antiviral. So if you can't get the big Cadillac mask, you can get the disposable antiviral mask.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So listen, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I have reposted the website. No excuses. Y'all don't have to text me later. Ask me what that website was. All you gotta do is play this video back, and you will have it. Share it with your family. Write it down. Send it in text. Send it out to your folks so that they also can have access to not just the mask, but to the sanitizers, the purify, to all the information that Dr. Rowland is constantly putting out there on social media, on his social media platforms, and on his websites. Dr. Rowland, again, thank you. I hope that we can do this again. Um,
I got some big news coming down the pipeline.
do
Woo,
you?
girl, I mean, man, they wrote, there's an article coming out probably in the next 2 weeks in the Denver Spectrum. Unbelievable. And I'm
Wow.
that y'all going to be able to see that. And then also, I've also partnered with the Urban League. And so,
Yes, this is a big thing.
yeah, the Urban League is partnering with Dr. Rowland, a world-renowned virologist, infectious disease guy, because we have to save rural America, the communities.
Yeah.
I'll go out there and I'm going to be making that happen real time,
Yeah.
boots around. I'm not going to be the guy drinking a Starbucks in Idaho.
Yeah.
I don't even know where Big Mama live at in Louisiana.
Yeah. Doc, is there anything that we can do on my side to support, to help this movement with rural America? I understand. I mean, my passion with rural America has always been like food desert, since a lot of the farms have gone away. So I understand the depravity in some of these areas. So is there any way we can support your mission out there? Anything that we can do? Um, is there anything?
Yeah, yeah, you can, and and I think one of the things as I progress in the different roles that I have, what you can do is that I will hook you guys up. People that really want to roll their sleeves up and make a
Mhm.
difference, I will hook you. You will get on Dr. Rowland's train, and when we go to these communities, you will be able to do your piece for that community, because we're only better as a team. It's not
Yeah.
Dr. Yeah, I might be the point man, but I got somebody at my 3, I got somebody at my 6, I got somebody at my 9. We work as a team. So yeah, and it's not always about giving money. It might be information. Maybe there's a talent, and so you will get the opportunity. Anybody that wants to have that opportunity to go with Dr. Rowland, and I say really boots on the ground. Let's
Mhm.
make it happen. Let's get it done here in the United States, because, folks, I've been doing it for 30 years in Peru. And guess what's happening? I might as well make the announcement. I'm going to Peru with a bunch of people in December. Who wants to go with
Yeah.
save some children's lives? And I'm talking about real country rural, snakes, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. And I don't see any scarecrows in the jungles. And I damn sure ain't seen Dorothy.
Oh no, 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 no. So, you are going to Peru in December,
Uh-huh.
and I know there are some people that had an interest in going. I have told them to contact you today if there's still an interest,
Yeah,
because
so
I
people
mean,
give people the opportunity. People doing it for 30 years. And like I said, if you're scared, go to church. But if you want to ride and step into my world, it's a whole different ball game. I'll be
yeah,
back in Arkansas next month for a week. I'll be giving town hall lectures again, implementing biosecurity protocols for different cities and rural areas. And and when I saw my cousin Clifford, my people that I remember chasing chickens and tadpoles 40 years ago, drinking
mhm.
Dr. Pepper and barbecue potato chips. I don't know why Dr. Pepper and potato chip barbecue always go together, but it was. And guess what? Them my people, and I got to go where my people at.
Yeah.
and make sure I give them the best information because who I am on my platform to make sure that they survive to see Christmas in next year
Yeah.
and don't be a footnote.
All right, Doc, this is our hour. Thank you so much. I would love to see you next month. You know, you always have an open door with me.
This
Definitely want to bring you back.
this next month, July, next month, July, we're going to do champagne.
Oh, we're doing champagne?
Bourgeois.
Independence Month and we're doing champagne? Okay.
Bourgeois.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
with it.
gotta spell bourgeois. Do I look like a bourgeois type of
You
person?
do not. You know, you know, everyone, y'all can bring your champagne if you choose. Bring some bubbly. Join us for another happy hour next month. Bring your
Well,
questions.
folks, the best champagne out there for Dr. Nolan, y'all better write this down.
Uh-oh.
I'm drinking Thunderbird.
Oh, that is not champagne.
Thunderbird.
I think when I was a kid, they said, "What's the word? What was the word? Thunderbird. What's the price? 60 twice." Oh my God! I don't know if they even still make that or not. But anyway,
You're right. Tweety, do they make Thunderbird?
I have no idea. But I tell you what, this time next month, I'll be able to tell you if they still make Thunderbird. I will be able to let you know. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Dr. Roland, thank you again for coming. Look, coming and doing your thing. You always bring the information hard, heavy, but straight and real. So we get it. We get it straight up with no chaser. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next month. And everyone stay safe out there, it's your girl Queenie. You know, love, light, and all of that from me. So I'll see y'all next month. Bye.
Lots of love. Bye, girl. Bye, bye, girl.
Bye.